myself Dr. RPS Chauhan, Professor and Head Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at IMS Engineering College Ghaziabad, affiliated to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University. I am here to take the lecture of subject microprocessor and microcontroller. Today in my lecture I am going to discuss the logic devices for interfacing the memory device and input output device. So, the first we discuss the concept of demultiplexing the address bus and data bus, that is AD0 to AD7. So, in 8085 microprocessor we know that the low order address bus, that is A0 to A7 and data bus D0 to D7 are multiplexed with each other. Multiplex means these buses are combined with each other. To interface the peripheral device, we need a 16-bit address line. So, these lines are A0 to A15. So, with the help of this 16 address line, the processor will carry the 16-bit address, and with the help of the data bus, that is D0 to D7, the processor will carry the data. So, to demultiplex the address from the multiplex address data bus, we need the latch IC, that is IC 74LS37. This is the latch IC which is used to demultiplex the multiplex address and data bus. So, see here in this figure, in 8085 microprocessor we have the multiplex address and data bus designated by AD0 to AD7. So, first thing is that we need to demultiplex. Demultiplex means we need to separate the low order address bus and the data bus from the multiplex address and data bus. So, for this purpose we use the latch IC, which is the IC number is 74LS373. In T1 T state of each machine cycle, microprocessor will generate the address latch enable signal, that is ALE signal, and with the help of this ALE signal, microprocessor will enable this latch, that is 74LS373. Each latch IC will consist D type flip flop as a internal circuitry. So, this is the D type flip flop as a internal circuitry. So, during the T1 T state, microprocessor will generate the ALE signal. With the help of ALE signal, microprocessor will enable the latch. Once the latch is enabled, it will passes the input from the information from input to output. So, when the latch is enabled with the help of ALE signal, the latch will passes the information from input to output, and the lines will carry the address. This address is called the low order address on A0 to A7 address line. After T1 T state, the ALE signal which changes its state from logic 1 to logic 0. So, this is nothing but the ALE signal. So, this ALE signal will changes its state from logic 1 to logic 0, and it will disable this latch. So, once the latch is disabled, it will not allow the information to pass from the input to output. So, after T1 T state, the lines which is the multiplex address and data bus, or the lines which is used to carry the both address and data bus, will use to carry the data, that is D0 to D7. So, this way the microprocessor will demultiplex the address and data bus with the help of latch. During the T1 T state, microprocessor will generate ALE signal. With the help of ALE signal, microprocessor will enable the latch. Once the latch is enabled, it will passes the information from input to output, and the lines will carry the low order address. So, the latch will hold the low order address on low order address bus, that is A0 to A7 up to T1 T state, and after T1 T state, the signal will change its state, that is ALE signal will change its state from the logic 1 to logic 0. It will disable the latch. Once the latch is disabled, it will not pass information from the input to output, and this instant the processor will uses the multiplex address and data bus for the 8-bit data. Means the processor will carry the 8-bit data with the help of D0 to D7. So, this is the concept which is used during the demultiplexing of address and data bus, while the high order address is carried with the help of the high order address line, that is A8 to A15 of the microprocessor. So, this is the concept which is used to demultiplex the address. Demultiplex means separation of the low order address and the data from the multiplex address and data bus. Next is the generation of control signal. So, whenever the peripheral devices are connected with the microprocessor, so we need to enable this peripheral device, or we can control the direction of data flow between microprocessor and the peripheral device with the help of control signal. So, these control signals are the memory related control signal, that is memory read and memory write. These are the memory related control signal, and the remaining two signal, that is nothing but the input output read and input output write. These are the input output related control signal. So, these four signal, that is memory read, memory write, input output read and input output write control signal can be generated with the help of input output or memory read control signal and write control signal of 8085 microprocessor. To generate a control signal, that is memory read, memory write, input output read and input output write control signal, in microprocessor we use generally two decoder technique, that is the NAND gate decoder techniques, in which NAND gate is used as a decoder to decode the signal, that is input output memory, read bar and write bar control signal to generate memory read, memory write, input output read and input output write control signal. The another technique which is commonly used, that is nothing but 3:8 decoder. So, in this technique we use 3:8 decoder circuitry, which is the IC, that is 74LS138. This decoder will have three input, that is input A, input B, input C and 8 active low output. These are the 8 active low output, that is Y0, Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Y5, Y6 and Y7. So, these are the active low output. So, with the help of the combination of these three inputs, that is input A, B and C, the 8 active low output can be selected, or we can say that the output gets activated depending on the combination of the input we apply at the 3:8 decoder. So, with the help of 8085 microprocessor, the processor will supply again the write control signal, read control signal and input output or memory signal, and these signals are used to connect with the three input of the decoder, and with the help of these three input, the combination of these three input, the decoder will generate the or activate the active low output, that is Y1, Y2, Y5 and Y6, and accordingly the control signal, that is memory read, memory write, input output read and input output write control signals gets generated. So, let us see the generation of the control signal by using the NAND gate decoder logic. So, this is the first technique which is used, NAND gate decoder logic. So, here we use the 4 NAND gate, that is NAND gate 1, 2, 3 and 4, and here the microprocessor uses the signal, that is input output or memory, read bar and write bar control signal. So, see here this signal input output or memory is used for the dual purpose. When the memory related operation, the logic on this signal is 0, for input output related operation the logic on this signal is 1. So, for memory read operation, the memory related operation, here the logic is applied, that is 0 and it comes here. So, after the inverter it becomes 1 and the read control signal, that is nothing but 0, and after inverter it becomes 1. So, the input to this NAND gate is 1 1, and if we apply this 1 1 input to NAND gate, the output is 0, which is nothing but the memory read active low control signal. Similarly, for memory write control signal, the status on input output or memory is 0, the write control signal is 0. So, the input to this NAND gate is 1 1 and the output to this NAND gate is logic 0. So, this is nothing but the active low memory write control signal. Similarly, for input output related operation, the status on this particular pin is logic 1, this logic 1 will appear here and it is inverted. So, it becomes 0 and finally, it is again inverted to the input to the NAND gate. So, the input output read control signal, the input to this NAND gate is 1 1 and it will give the output, that is 0, which is nothing but the active low control signal for input output, read control signal for the input output device. Similarly, for input output write control signal, the NAND gate will give the logic 0 signal by applying the status on this input output or memory is 1, it is inverted, it becomes 0 and the write control signal is 0. So, the input to this NAND gate is 1 1 and the NAND gate will give the output 0. So, this way the processor will generate the control signal, that is memory read control signal, memory write control signal for memory related operation, input output read and input output write control signal for input output related operation. Now, the second technique which is used commonly used, that is nothing but 3:8 decoder. So, in this 3:8 decoder we have the 3 inputs to this decoder, that is input A, input B, input C, and in this decoder will have 8 active low output, that is Y0 to Y7. In addition to this input and output, the decoder will have the 2 group of control signal, that is G1 bar and G2 bar, which is active low, normally used to connect with the ground, and the another group of control, that is nothing but the G, and it is connected with VCC along VCC or the plus 5 volt supply. So, this is the basic concept of the 3:8 decoder. So, the processor will use to generate this read, write and input output or memory related control signal. These signals are applied as an input to 3:8 decoder. So, the input output of memory signal is connected to input C, and read control signal is connected to input B, and write control signal is connected to input A. So, the combination is C, B, A. So, when for the generation of the memory read control signal, the combination is C, B, A. These are the nothing, these are the input to the 3:8 decoder, and the output comes out, that is for the memory read operation or memory read control signal, the combination is the memory related operation is 0, 0, 1. So, here the 0, 0, 1. So, here output is Y 1 is activated. So, this is used for the memory read control signal. Now, for the memory write control signal, the combinations comes out, that is the combination is the status on this input output memory is 0, read is 1 and write is 0. So, it is the combination is 0, 1, 0. So, here the output Y2 is activated, and with the help of this the memory write control signal gets generated. Similarly, for input output related operation, the status on input output of memory is 1, read signal is 0 and write signal is 1. So, the combination is 1, 0, 1. So, the output Wi-Fi is activated. So, it will give the output, that is active low, which is used for the generation of input output read control signal for input output device, and similarly for input output write control signal, the combination is 1, 1, 0, that is nothing but the output Y6 gets activated, and it will give the control signal, that is input output write control signal. So, this way we will generate the memory related and input output related control signal with the help of NAND gate decoder logic and 3:8 decoder logic, along with the 3 inputs, that is input output of memory, read control signal and write control signals. Next is the tri-state buffer. The tri-state buffer is combinational device whose output can be electronically tuned, that is on or off, by means of external control or enable signal. So, this is nothing but a combinational device, tri-state buffer. The output is electronically tuned, means the output can be tuned electronically either by on or off by the combination of the control signal, that is called the enable signal. So, in tri-state buffer generally the buffer having the 2 input, that is input A and the enable input. So, this enable input is either logic 1 or logic 0. So, when we apply logic 0 or logic 1, it depends upon whether the buffer will have the active low enable signal or active high enable signal. So, generally commonly used tri-state buffer, that is the TTL IC, that is 74LS125 and the TTL 74LS126, which is commonly used as a tri-state buffer. The tri-state buffer requires 2 input, one being the data input, that is input A, the data input is input A, and the control or enable input, that is enable signal. So, this is the tri-state buffer and its equivalent circuit as a switch. So, here the tri-state buffer we can easily observe that with this particular figure. So, this buffer tri-state buffer will have 2 input, that is the enable input and input A, and this enable input is nothing but it is active high. Active high means when we apply the appropriate logic on this enable input, then the buffer will transfer this information or the input to output. So, here this is the equivalent circuit of this tri-state buffer. So, when the enable is 0. So, when enable is 0, this buffer is acts as a open switch. See here, it is acts as a open switch, and this open switch is nothing but it is a high impedance state. So, when we apply any input to this tri-state buffer, the output is always high impedance state. So, if we apply 0, the output is high impedance state, and if we apply as a input to 1, it is again a high impedance state. But when the enable is 1, so this is nothing but the appropriate logic we apply to this tri-state buffer. So, when enable is 1, enable signal is 1, it acts as a closed switch. So, it will passes the input to output. So, see here, the output Q is equals to A, means if we apply A is 0, the output is 0, and if we apply A is 1, we will get output that is 1. So, the operation of this tri-state buffer can be easily understand with the help of this truth table. So, this is the status of the enable. So, if logic 0 is applied to this particular tri-state buffer, which is nothing but the active high. So, this acts as a open switch. So, when we apply as input is 0, the output is always high impedance state, and if we apply the input is logic 1, the output is again high impedance state. So, since the enable signal is 0, so buffer tri-state buffer is at high impedance state. So, it will always give the output is high at that Q is equals to high impedance. When the enable signal is logic 1, so it acts as a closed switch. So, this is the concept of this tri-state buffer. When apply logic 1 to this enable pin, so it acts as a closed switch. So, if the input is 0, the output is 0, and if the input is 1, the output is 1. So, this is the logic which is used in tri-state buffer. With the help of this truth table, we can easily understand the working of this tri-state buffer. It acts as a switch. When the enable input pin, enable input is 0, so it acts as a high impedance state, and the enable input pin is 1, it acts as a closed switch, and the output is always equals to the input. The octal tri-state buffer, that is 74LS244, this is nothing but the 8 buffer are configured in 2 group of 4, with first group designated A1 to A4 being controlled by the enable input CA. So, here the first group which consists A1, A2, A3, A4, and this input is controlled with the help of the enable input, that is the CA. So, this is the control input, and the another group will consist that A5 to A8. So, here A5, A6, A7, A8 is the input, and this is controlled by the enable input CB. So, same here, when we apply the appropriate logic on this enable input, then the buffer will passes the information from input to output. If the appropriate logic is not applied to this buffer, it will always give the output that is nothing but the high impedance state. So, 74LS244 has very high sink and source current capability if required to switch transistor load. If you want to connect the transistor load with the microprocessor, we always use the tri-state buffer. So, this buffer will enhance the driving capability of the data bus or the buses which is used during the interfacing. So, buffer is used to enhance the driving capability, means it is having the high sink and source current capability mostly for the transistor load, that is nothing but the relays. So, always prefer this tri-state buffer which is used during the interfacing of the input output devices. Next is the bus transceiver. The IC is 74LS245. Bus transceiver are the tri-state bidirectional device which allow the flow of data between 2 points. It is a bidirectional. So, we need to connect the bus transceiver with the help of the data bus. So, it also have the 2 groups, that is A0 to A7 and B0 to B7. So, this direction of the data from input to output will depends upon this DIR input. If DIR input at logic 1, then the data will passes from terminal A to terminal B. I repeat again, when the DIR input at logic 1, the data is passes from input A to input B, and if DIR input is at logic 0, then the data will passes from the reverse direction from terminal B to terminal A. So, it will passes the data in the reverse direction from terminal B to terminal A. That pin number 20 is used for the VCC and pin number 10 is used for the ground. So, this is the bus receiver, that is IC 74LS245, which is used during the interfacing of the input and output devices in microprocessor based system. Next is the memory structure. A memory consists of an array of register in which each register has unique address. So, in memory is generally classified as a random access memory and read only memory or EPROM. So, here the size of the memory will depends upon that is n cross m, where n is nothing but the number of registers or and m is nothing but the word length. So, n is nothing but the number of registers, means it is the capacity of the memory, means for the 2048 cross 8. So, this 2048 is nothing but the number of register which is used. So, it is generally a 2 kilobytes of memory and each location, each register will capability to hold the 8-bit number. So, to address this 2 kilobytes of memory, the address lines required, that is A0 to A10, that is 11 address lines required, and this is the read write memory. So, the control signal, that is write control signal, read control signals are used to write or read any the information from this read write memory. We need to enable this memory device with the help of chip select signal. The input data buffer and output data buffer is used to interface the memory device with the microprocessor. The another classification of the memory device is nothing but EPROM. So, here the capacity of this memory is 4 kilobytes cross 8. So, the address lines required, that is A0 to A11, that is 12 address lines are required to address this 4 kilobytes of memory. Since it is a read only memory, that is why the read control signal is used. To enable this memory, we require chip select signal, and the output buffer is required to output the data from this memory, that is EPROM memory. Basic concept in memory interfacing: microprocessor 805 can access 64 kilobytes of memory because the address bus of the 805 microprocessor is 16 bit. So, with the help of this 16 bit address bus, the processor will access the 64 kilobytes of memory location. EPROM is a programmable memory. Remember that EPROM is a programmable memory and RAM is the data memory. So, mostly the program can be written into the EPROM, that is nothing but the program memory, and RAM is nothing but the read write memory, is also called the data memory. Both EPROM and RAM are used during the memory interfacing. The total address space, that is 64 kilobytes, with the help of this 16 address line, the processor is able to access 64 kilobytes of memory location. So, this 64 bytes can be shared with along in between this EPROM and the RAM memory. Program memory should be located always at address 00H 0000H, because whenever we reset the microprocessor base system, the content of program counter becomes PC is equals to 0000H. So, it will start the execution of program from this particular memory location having address 0000H. That is why EPROM is always located at this particular memory location 0000H. The memory interfacing requires select the chip. To enable the memory device, select the chip with the help of CS bar signal, identify the register, what is the capacity of the memory, whether it is 1 kilobyte, 2 kilobyte, 4 kilobyte, like that. Enable the appropriate buffer to either input buffer or output buffer to read and write the information from the memory. Then address decoding technique, that is nothing but the absolute decoding technique. All the higher address lines are decoded to select the memory chip. So, here the decoder logics are used to generate the memory read, memory write, input output read and input output control signals. So, again here the EPROM and the RAM memory are interfaced with the address decoding technique, that is nothing but the absolute decoding. So, the capacity of this EPROM is 1 kilobytes and the RAM is again 1 kilobytes. So, for this 1 kilobytes we require the address line, that is A0 to A9 address lines with the help of A0 to A7 and A8 to A15. The remaining address line, that is A10 to A15 address lines are used as a input to the 3:8 decoder to generate the chip select signal for EPROM and RAM memory. So, if the combination of this input, the address lines is such that if the output Y0 is activated, so it will enable or it will select the chip, that is nothing but the EPROM, which is 1 kilobytes. So, if Y0 is activated, it will enable the EEPROM, and if Y1 is activated, it will enable the RAM. So, this technique is called the absolute decoding technique, in which the higher order address lines are used. Next is called the linear decoding technique. So, in which the mostly the linear decoding technique is used in the small system. So, this decoder circuitry is used to generate the memory read, memory write, input output read, input output write control signal. The address lines A8 to A15 are used to carry the high order address, data bus are used to carry the data, and A0 to A7 address lines are used to carry the low order address bus. Again 1 kilobytes of EEPROM and 1 kilobytes of RAMs are used. To see here, with the help of the address line A15 and with the help of inverter, we can enable or select the chips in the linear decoding. So, only the address line which is nothing but A15 are used. This is called the linear decoding. This technique is also called partial decoding. It reduces the cost of decoding because the less number of hardwares are required in this linear decoding technique. So, this is the linear decoding technique in which the less hardware, that is why it is somewhat cheaper as compared to the absolute decoding technique, because only the one decoder is there. In this, see here in previous, we need 2 decoder circuitry, that is 3:8 decoder. We need this 3:8 decoder, the 2 ICs. First IC is used to generate the control signal, the second IC that is used to generate the chip select signal. So, this is the difference between the absolute decoding technique and linear decoding technique. Next is the interfacing of the input device. So, here the input interfacing devices, that is nothing but the switches, that is S0 to S7s are connected. So, this is the input interfacing device, this is nothing but tri-state buffer. So, with the help of this 74LS138 decoder logic, we need to generate the output enable signal. By applying the appropriate logic, the output enable signal gets generated. With the help of this output enable signal, this tri-state buffer gets enable and it will passes the information from input to the output. So, this example of the input devices is nothing but the switches, that is the dip switches S0 to S1. These are the pull up resistor which is used. So, when this switch is closed, the corresponding bits can be passes from input to output when the tri-state buffer gets activated with the help of the decoder circuitry, that is 3:8 decoder. So, here the address line, that is A0 to A7 address lines are used as a decoder for decoding the logic for the that is output enable for the tri-state buffer. So, tri-state buffer is nothing but the input interfacing device which will interface the switches, which is nothing but the example of input devices with the microprocessor. So, here the 805 microprocessor need to connect with the help of the data bus. So, the output of this tri-state buffer is connected to the data bus of the 8085 microprocessor. Next is the interfacing of the output devices. So, here the example of output devices are nothing but the LEDs. So, we have 8 LEDs right from L1 to L8, these are the LEDs, and to interface this output device we need the latch, which is the output interfacing device. So, to enable the latch we need to generate the appropriate logic, that is nothing but the latch enable signal. So, with the help of this A0 to A7 address line, we will generate the latch enable signal. With the help of latch enable signal, it will enable the latch, and here the A0 to A7, the combination of the address lines which is required to generate the enable signal. Once the latch is enabled, it will passes the data from the microprocessor to the LED which is connected with the output interfacing device. So, here the data from the microprocessor passes to the LED, that is the output interfacing device, and the last is nothing but the memory mapped input output scheme. In memory mapped input output scheme, the 16 address lines are used to address the input output device. The address line, that is A0 to A15 address lines. Instruction use are nothing but the all memory related instruction, that is LDA 16 bit, STA 16 bit, MOV A, M, LDX, RP 16 bit, STX, RP 16 bit, and the control signal, that is memory read and memory write control signals are used to enable the memory device, which is nothing but memory or input output device. So, here the input output device is considered as a memory device in memory mapped input output scheme, where the address lines are A0 to A15, 16 address lines. The instructions are all memory related instruction, LDA, STA, MOV A, M, LDX, RP, STX, RP. The control signals are memory read and memory write control signals. So, these are the interfacing device which are commonly used to interface the peripheral devices, that is input output device and memory device, the absolute decoding techniques and linear decoding technique, the generation of the control signal to enable the peripheral devices. Thank you very much.